mastering our CRM today. I think one of the most important topics we can possibly cover when it comes to getting better sales results, getting more sales, getting consistency in our sales funnel. And yet, it is one of the most neglected things in our industry. It drives me absolutely crazy that I can say over and over and over and over again, you must have a CRM, you must use it daily. And yet, I would say 80, 85% of the people in this industry still are not using a CRM. It makes me crazy. So let's put an end to that. Let's make sure that we are using our CRM. And not only that, let's make sure that we are using it as effectively as possible. How's that for a deal? Is that all right? Yes, perfect. All right, let's get into it. Mastering our CRM, we're going to go through some slides, then we'll go through the actual PIPEDRIVE CRM. I just got done setting up a new instance of PIPEDRIVE CRM for our physical products and information products business. So I'll take you through that and just show you. It's kind of good to see a fresh install of that and all the things I got set up and how I customized it and all that good stuff. So let's jump into it with best practice number one. Best practice number one is really all about mindset. Okay, it's all about mindset. We all need to have the mindset that if it is not in our CRM, it didn't happen. And I'm specifically referring to emails, conversations, meetings that you have with prospects and salespeople and business partners, right? JV partners, referral partners, things like that. All of those conversations, all of those activities must be captured in your CRM. Okay, when we were in the IT services business, our CRM was called ConnectWise. And we had big banners printed up in our office that said, if it's not in ConnectWise, it didn't happen. Okay, those were hanging around our office. Why was that so critical? Well, for our sales team, it was critical for the reasons that I've just told you. We needed to get consistency in our pipeline. We needed to get visibility in our pipeline. I needed to know what my salespeople were doing, how they were producing. So that had to be in the CRM system, or I could not measure them. I could not hold them accountable. And if they were not allowing me to do that, then I would kick them out the door, right? And tell them to go spend somebody else's money. Also, on the services side, we needed to have the documentation of all of the service that we were providing to our clients so that when our clients came to us and said, hey, we think you're paying you too much, we could very easily pull out of ConnectWise all of the work that our technicians had been doing, all of the notes about all the service that they had been providing, how long they were on a call with somebody. All of that was logged in our CRM so that when we sat down to negotiate rates, we can say, hey, look, you're right. You're not paying us the right amount. You're paying us way too little. In fact, look at all the work our engineers are doing on your behalf. So we created the mindset in the culture of our company that if it's not in your CRM, it didn't happen. That's how important it is to track all of this information, to get you organized, to make it measurable, to make it consistent. Okay, you guys absolutely need to have that mindset as well. Happy Wednesday, Montina. Welcome to the call. Good to see you here as always. Best practice number two, use your CRM every day throughout the day. You will see when we get out of the slides here, I have PIPEDRIVE pinned as one of my permanently open tabs in Chrome. Okay, it is a permanently open thing inside of Chrome, so that there's no way that I'm just going to forget. Oh yeah, there's PIPEDRIVE, right? You guys should have PIPEDRIVE open all day long. And look, I'm no longer in the position where all I'm doing is selling every day. You guys should be in the position where all you're doing is selling every day. You should be in PIPEDRIVE or whatever CRM you're using all day, every day throughout the day. You should have it on your mobile devices, right? I have PIPEDRIVE's mobile app on my iPhone. You should have it on your phone as well and on your tablets or whatever, so that when you are out and about throughout the day, when you go and you have a meeting with somebody at their office, as soon as you finish up, you can hop in your car and you can enter in your notes and your next activity right into your cell phone. Okay, right into the app on your phone or on your tablet, so that way you're not relying on your memory. When you get back to the office later on in the day, you're tired, whatever, that's not the time to rely on your memory. You want to put those notes and next activities, next steps in immediately. So use your CRM every day throughout the day and make it as easy as possible. Okay, get it set up on your computer so that it's open throughout the day. Put it in a separate browser so that it's just open all the time. Put it on a second monitor so that monitor is always on. Okay, I don't know about you guys. I have 3 monitors sitting in front of me all the time, so that way I can have important things open. That's the way you should operate as well. And like I said, have it on those mobile devices so when you're out and about, you can enter information that way. Best practice number 3, put every single contact into your CRM. Every single contact should go into your CRM. Okay, the point here being that we want to remove any administrative overhead, administrative burden into. Good job, Dan Harris, as he just installed PIPEDRIVE on his tablet. What you want to do is you want to remove any administrative hurdles to getting your notes into the system, right? So let me give you an example of what I'm doing right now and why this is important. If every time I wanted to put a note into my CRM, I had to actually enter in the contact for the first time every single time, that would be just enough of a hurdle that I would go, oh, geez, I don't know, maybe that note wasn't that important. Maybe that conversation wasn't that important. We'll see if something comes up with that prospect later, and then I'll enter in all their information, right? That's what happens. Just those little additional hurdles prevent you from putting all the information into your CRM that you should. Okay. So what I have done right now is I have an intern working for us, and you guys can do this too. I got an intern absolutely free, smart girl about to head off to college and wants to have some sort of experience in some sort of startup environment, and ideally a marketing environment, so that she can have that on her resume and part of her experience when she goes off to college. Right, smart girl. So I said, yeah, absolutely, come on in. I've got stuff for you. She had no clue what a CRM even was. Of course, a high school kid. Explained to her why it was so important to our business, and then I said, here's the big long list of contacts that I want you to put into PipeDrive. Some of them I had in a spreadsheet format, so she could just import them. Others she's having to go through and put them in manually. But because they're in there now, for the most part, when I go to add notes, the contact's already in there. The administrative overhead, the hurdle is very low, so I actually get the notes in there. You need to think about that as well. How do I make it so that the administrative hurdles are low enough that it doesn't prevent me from putting information in there? So put every stinking contact into your CRM, okay? Best practice, if you're running around during the day and you pick up a couple of business cards, get those business cards input into your CRM that day, okay? Do it while you're sitting there watching The Profit at night. Whip out your laptop, put in those few business cards, and get them done. If you have an intern that is working for you regularly, of course, you can just collect a stack of those business cards and then just give them to the intern and have them enter, the information all at once. Whatever you do, just get that stuff in there so that you don't have that administrative hurdle. Montina says, yeah, I hadn't thought of keeping it open all day long. Absolutely. Got to have your CRM. You guys should be doing nothing. And unless you were literally out visiting with a client, you guys should just be in your CRM, staring at your CRM all day, every day. Okay. That is where you should be working from. That is where you should be driving your business from. If you had nothing open but your CRM and your email, that would be great. Okay. Angel, hello. All right. Best practice number 4, set stages for each step of your sales process. Okay. This is so critical. I've walked you through over the last handful of weeks how those stages in the pipeline are important. That's how you measure, do I have enough in my pipeline? How many deals do I have in each stage? What's the percentage likelihood that a deal in that stage will close and actually become business? And how long will that take, right? You've got to have that in your CRM. It's got to be mapped out in your CRM so that you can measure those stages and know, do I have enough activity in each step of my pipeline? Because you can predict your income in the next 30 days based on those stages in your pipeline, okay? So you got to set stages for each step of your sales process. Best practice number 5, set specific goals for each stage. Okay? Set specific goals for each stage. So my first stage, right? I should put, 10 new prospect conversations into that first stage every single week. From those, I should get 7 sales meetings. From those, I should get 5 proposals written, right? 5 actual opportunities. Okay, whatever the goals are for you should be driven by the income goal that you have, which is determined in that activity tracking spreadsheet that we have, right? In that activity tracking spreadsheet, it says, hey, I want to make an additional $5,000 in recurring revenue this month. My average deal is $1,000 in recurring revenue. That means I need 5 deals. And then we work those numbers backwards, and those goals go into our CRM so that we know whether we're on track or off track. Okay? Best practice number 6, measure based on activity and revenue. Measure based on activity and revenue. Why is this important? This is important because if you are measuring just on revenue, okay, if you are measuring just on revenue and your sales pipeline shows that you have, plenty of revenue coming to meet your goal. Let's say, you've got a $25,000 number on your pipeline that should get delivered in the next 30 days in actual revenue. Okay, so you're thinking, great, I'm all set. That's 25 grand coming my way. And this is really important when you're managing salespeople to look into these details. But the devil's in the details, right? So it turns out that 25 grand is all coming from just one deal. Okay, now you have huge risk. You have huge risk because if that one deal doesn't close, you're in big trouble, right? You could get a total whiff on your revenue number. Okay, has that ever happened to anybody? I know that's happened to me a bunch of times. It's terrible. You think you got this big deal lined up and you're like, woohoo, and then all of a sudden whiff, right? So yeah, Nahal says, yep. So that happens. So we also need to measure based on activity. How many deals? How many calls are we making? How many new prospects are we having conversations with? Because that activity drives consistency in our revenue. Okay, if you have 100 deals to make up that $25,000 in revenue, each deal is smaller, but the likelihood that you're just going to whiff on all 100 of those deals goes way, 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 way down, right? The likelihood is that you are going to close on, let's say, 50% of those deals, 60% of those deals, whatever it is, based on your closing ratio. But that drives consistency. So we need to measure both on activity and revenue. Okay, how many deals, how many contacts? We also want to know the revenue numbers that we're predicting as well. That's important, obviously, but we've got to know both. Best practice number 7, use a visual pipeline. I've just found personally, and for the people that I've managed as well, it's just much, much, much easier to know whether you're on track or off track if you have a visual representation of what's going on in your business. Okay? One of the most important things I've learned in business, and yet one of the things that I struggle with the most still to this day, is that by and large, we are visual people. And if you can communicate a lesson, if you can communicate a goal a process, whatever it is, visually by putting a nice simple little diagram up, then you will have dramatically more effective communication, right? This is, I swear, and I've wanted to write a book on this for years. I need to do it, but I swear that if you go and you watch a good kindergarten or first grade, second grade teacher work, you will know all you need to know about how to run a business and manage people, right? Because unbelievable that these teachers, classroom sizes these days are huge, right? You can have a first grade teacher with 30 students all to themselves. I mean, I can barely manage keeping my 3 girls on track to get them out of the house in the morning when I'm responsible for that. When my wife's out of town like she was this week. And, these teachers are responsible. Yeah, Montina says she was a middle school teacher for 3 years. So you know exactly what I'm talking about. These teachers are responsible for 25, 30, 35 kids at a time. These kids are coming up, into their classroom, hopped up on sugar, cereal, sugar bombs in the morning and drinking Gatorade and all that type of stuff. And that teacher's got to find a way to corral them, to corral their focus and get them to actually learn something. And the way that they do that is through very simple visual cues, very simple visual ways of learning, right? And when they do that, it's masterful. Derek says, I'm eating Lucky Charms right now. That's all right, Derek, because you're going to use those Lucky Charms to fuel you through 50 good, solid phone calls today. I'm sure of it. So use that visual pipeline. Make it easy, okay, to learn and to manage your business. Best practice number 8, always schedule the next activity right now. When you are in your CRM and you just completed a phone call with a prospect, okay, you just completed a phone call with a prospect, you're putting in your notes, you're marking that call complete. Okay, the very next thing that you should do is schedule the next activity. There is always a next activity, okay, unless you are truly just killing that prospect. That prospect, somebody you're never ever going to talk to again. They're completely disqualified. You're taking them out of your list, whatever it is. But otherwise, there is always a next activity, and it should be scheduled immediately. Okay, that next activity may be to do a follow-up call in 3 months. Okay, it may be to send them a proposal. It may be to send them some research. It may be to send them a direct mail piece. Whatever it is, that next activity should be scheduled right now. Okay, that way it doesn't get forgotten. It gets put into the system, and your system starts to become this self-fulfilling thing, right? It starts to give it a snowball that's getting momentum. It's rolling downhill. It's picking up momentum because now you're scheduling follow-up activities with prospects instead of just cold calling brand new prospects. And that's when life and business becomes just dramatically easier. You're following up with people instead of starting cold. Okay, best practice number 9, review the next day's activities the night before. Okay, make sure that you know what the plan of attack is for the next day. You don't want to wake up, slow, go get your workout in, get a big breakfast in, all that type of stuff. Next thing you know, you're sitting down at your desk for the first time. It's 8:45, and whoops! In order for me to, meet my goals with my prospecting time, I had to block out on my calendar, 8 o'clock. I was supposed to be hustling through my sales calls from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Okay, well, I'll do it from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., but then I've still got that meeting I have to go to at 10, so that'll be as good as I can do. And you just miss an hour of prospecting time. Okay, make sure you know what the next day's activities are the night before so that you can be prepared, so that you can have your time scheduled, budgeted out effectively, so that you can make sure to knock them out. Best practice number 10, take advantage of all of the integrations in your CRM to reduce manual effort. Okay, take advantage of all the integrations to reduce manual effort, right? Again, we want to lower the administrative hurdles to being successful, right? When there's administrative hurdles, we don't get the work done, okay? So take advantage of all of the integrations to reduce manual effort. This reminds me of my tour of the Facebook headquarters that I did. Facebook is doing a masterful job of removing any hurdles that their employees could possibly have to getting work done, okay? You need to eat? Absolutely. It's free. All the food you want all day long, prepared by professional chefs, it's all there available for you. You need a new computer? You just walk to the IT desk, give them your old computer, pick up your new computer. No forms to fill out, no waiting, no nothing. You need a new iPhone? There's a vending machine on campus. Literally, free. Just go punch in your employee number, and you get a free iPhone. Okay? Drops down out of the vending machine for you. Okay? They don't want you to have to wait. They don't want you to have to leave campus. Need your car washed? Done. Okay? Need your laundry done? Of course. Okay? Need to get your hair cut? It's all there. Why are they doing that? Because they want to keep people on campus 24/7 working their tails off and make it easy. And it's brilliant. Montina says, sounds good, yet I still don't want a job. Well, yeah, no kidding. That's because 99% of employers are not like that, right? 99.5. If all employers were like that, we might reconsider. But no, Facebook is definitely an exception. So take advantage of all those integrations to reduce your manual effort. Best practice number 11, create reports to show your stalled deal points. What do I mean by that? I mean that when you have a whole bunch of deals and activity and prospects and everything in your CRM system, that's just, there's a ton of data in there and things could get lost, right, in that CRM unless you have proper reporting set up. And this is one of the things that PIPEDRIVE does really, really well is that they have a deal rotting measure that's built into the system. So you can say, hey, look, if I've got a deal sitting in a stage in my pipeline and it's been there longer than 15 days with no activity, make it red. Okay, make it red, make it show up in my dashboard so that I can't miss it. So what PipeDrive is doing is it's saying, hey, look, let me build in these automatic alerts into your system so that when you're getting busy, Mike, and you got all these deals in there, when we see one that looks like you've forgotten it, we're going to turn it red, okay, to remind you. Okay, when you've got a whole bunch going into your CRM, again, there's so much data in there, it can be easy to lose track a little bit of, how long things have been sitting in certain stages of your pipeline. And that's when your numbers really get cloudy and you start kind of lying to yourself. Okay, so when I didn't have PipeDrive, I used to have to do this manually with all my sales team because I'd sit down and look at my sales numbers, right, for the month that I'm expecting from the sales team, and I would see all these numbers in the different stages of the pipeline, and they all looked good. But then I would dig into each of those stages for each of my sales guys, and I would see, hey, wait a minute, Derek, you've had this deal sitting in this stage in the pipeline for 90 days now, okay, and you're still showing that there's expecting $15,000 to come from it, right? And the reality is this thing's been sitting here for 90 days with the same $15,000. I now know that this is a stalled deal. This is not, I am taking this out of the pipeline. I'm not expecting this revenue to hit. Okay. So now I know that our pipeline is $15,000 short from what I expected it to be. So now I need my sales guys to go and fill that pipeline back up. Right. Same process for you. You need to know, hey, are my numbers real or do I have deals that are sitting there rotting and I'm accounting for them in my pipeline, but they're really not legitimate deals. Okay. I'm lying to myself. Yeah. Nahal says, had no idea PipeDrive did this, was doing it manually. Yeah, absolutely. I'll show you guys how. Okay. Best practice number 12. If you're managing others, you got to review these reports daily, okay? If you end up managing other salespeople, you've got to review these reports daily, right? How many activities are they getting in? What kind of numbers are they generating? Where are the stalled deal points? But honestly, guys, you are managing yourselves, okay? This is why I ask you to fill out your daily tracking spreadsheet, okay? Because that is the process of reviewing these numbers daily and going, shit, I said I was going to do 50 calls. I only did 37, okay? That's 13 calls short. When am I going to make that up, okay? Turns out in the second stage of my pipeline, I'm totally empty right now. What do I got to do? What do I got to do to get more people in that stage of my pipeline so that I don't end up with some big dry spell 45 days from now? Okay. You've got to review those reports. You got to hold yourself accountable. And certainly if you are managing other people and you are not doing this, you are just throwing money away. Okay. You've got to manage those numbers daily. All right. Questions on any of this? We will hop into PipeDrive and go through some things in PipeDrive so you can see it. But any questions before we jump into it? Clarence, I said sugar bomb, B-O-M-B, not bong. I'm out of Colorado now, Clarence. We don't have bongs all over the place like we did in Colorado. All right, let me get a drink real quick. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Punch them in, okay? All right, let's go ahead and hop on over to PipeDrive. You can see all of my tabs open, okay? But everything over here on the left, these are all pinned tabs, right? I have them open because I'm just using them constantly and I'm pinging from one thing to the next, okay? But if I'm in full sales mode, okay, PipeDrive is open. If it's in the middle of my prospecting time, PipeDrive is open, okay? I'm sitting here and I'm working out of this. And you guys should be working essentially out of your activities most of the time, right? So why should you be working out of your activities most of the time? Because you should be scheduling activities for your prospects, right? So if you are totally cold, then you would be working out of contacts, right? If you're saying, hey, I'm just reaching out to these people for the very first time, right? Then you would be working out of contacts. You could pop into a contact like this, right? And you could just go contact to contact, making phone calls and stuff like that, right? So you can do that, right? You've got phone number right here. You've got email right here. So if I'm prospecting, I can just go through and do it that way. Just boom, 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 prospect to prospect, right? But ideally what I'm doing is I've got an activity. Let's just say that I did a call with Adam here. I put in my notes, okay? Call done, following up in 3 weeks to confirm they are interested in reputation stuff, okay? Put my note in here, okay? And I save this sucker, right? So this one, what is today? Today's the 6th? Yeah, today's the 6th. So let's just assume that it's just happened right now, okay? So I've got this scheduled, right? I click this sucker as done, right? And what happens? Schedule next activity automatically pops up because PipeDrive knows that's what I should be doing, okay? So I just said I'm following up in three weeks to confirm the reputation stuff. So I schedule this out, okay? Put my date on here, 3 weeks out, the 27th. Said I would give them a call at 11 a.m., okay? Expecting this to take 15 minutes. Okay, so when you are completing or when you are entering a task and completing at the same time, you can just click that button on the last one. You can just click the little mark as done button, right? But I'm scheduling this in the future. Okay, so now I have a planned activity right here, and I have a past activity right here. I really like PipeDrive the way it just it'll just show all of my past activities right here, so I can quickly see my notes as they come up. But now, as I look in my activities thing right here, I've got this call scheduled for Adam Simon, and that's the point. As you build up your activities. Okay, as you build up your activities, you will just start seeing things scheduled in here. and you will just primarily come into activities and just start doing calls, okay, or doing your follow-ups, sending your emails, whatever the heck it is that you need to do. They'll fill up your day. I needed to make 30 calls today. Well, I've got 30 of them already scheduled just from the follow-up I'm doing with past prospects. Okay, that is how you get away from being just a cold calling machine. Okay, I get so sick and tired when I hear people bad-mouthing cold calling. Oh, they want you to do cold calling forever. No, if you have to do cold calling forever, it's because you suck at, putting information into your CRM and actually following up with people. That's the only reason you should have to do cold calling forever. At the 6-month mark in this business, if you are still doing more than 25% of your effort is cold calling effort, you are doing something wrong. Okay, you need to go back and you need to look at how am I doing in terms of management of my CRM and management of my follow-up. Because in 6 months, you should have talked to plenty of people, had contact with plenty of people, to now just make it 75% a follow-up process. Yeah, Dan Harris says, ouch. Yeah, absolutely, guys. Look, there's no reason why we should be beating our heads against the wall of cold calling forever. Okay, the whole point of cold calling is to fill up your database with people who are interested. So if after 6 months, you aren't talking to enough people that are interested, at least 75% of your time, you are doing something very wrong with the process of keeping good track of your prospects and following up with them. Okay. Rudy says, when harvesting cold call list and we don't have the name of the contact, only company and phone number, how should we upload the spreadsheet? Deal, organization, contact. Should we still just put them in as a contact? No, I would upload them as an organization. Okay, because you have the company information you're saying, but you don't have the person. So upload the organization, call into the organization, and your first call should be all about trying to find out who the right person is. Okay. And then question number 2, good question, Rudy. Good questions, I should say. Question number 2, should we cold call out of another platform altogether, or do you like PipeDrive for cold calling? Rudy, if you're like me and you want to put everything on turbo, I would cold call out of another platform. Okay. I have shown, let's see here. I've showed people a number of different tools for doing this. Hold on here. I'm getting my products mixed up here. Phone burner is one that we've used and really, really liked. And then there's a whole bunch of competitors. I think phone burner is actually the most expensive one probably you're going to find. But it's great. But there are a lot of competitors out there. So what these tools do is they say, hey, give us all of those cold prospects. We'll throw them into this system, and we'll let you make your cold calls super fast. Okay, it's got a power dialer so that it's dialing automatically for you. You can record a standard voicemail, and then you just hit a button and it just automatically leaves the voicemail for you and puts you on your next call. You can do, my sales guys with absolute maximum effort would hit 100 cold calls in a day. With this system, we could get up close to 400 in a day. Okay. So if you're saying, hey, Mike, if you're saying, hey, you said what I need to do is I need to hustle my butt off to get the initial cold prospecting phase done. I want to do that as fast as possible so that I can get into that follow-up stage that you're talking about. Man, for the money, give me one of these, give me a headset, and I'll sit down and I'll build a business in 6 months, no problem. Because I'm just hustling, just hustle, making my calls, working my scripts. Everything's going in. Every person that I actually get a conversation with is then going into PipeDrive and becoming somebody that I'm following up with. Okay. Nahal says he has had a great experience with CallFire, but Nahal, I can't remember. Does CallFire have the auto? I know it's got this cloud call center. Does it have the? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. There you go. Smart drop. Your agents can leave high quality pre-recorded voicemails, allowing them to move quickly on the next call. Perfect. So CallFire looks like it's doing the same thing. CallFire, I think, is significantly cheaper, I believe, on the versus the phone burner app. Nahal says auto dialers there and everything. So there's another option for you. Nahal says their explanation is crap, but it's about $100 a month. Cool. So yeah, guys, look, if you want to take your, cold prospecting up to a whole nother level, that's the way you do it. And then once you have contact with somebody, so I get Nahal on the phone, Nahal and I have a little conversation. I go, Nahal was a good guy. He's not interested right now. However, he's working with one of my competitors. I'm keeping him on the radar. I move him into PipeDrive as a contact into PipeDrive, enter the note in here. I take him out of my cold dialing and I put him over here and I start working him out of the activities going forward. Okay, so that's the process, right? And again, starting a new business from scratch, geez, man, guys, just sign up for one of these, get the biggest list that you can of the targeted prospects that you're going after. Okay, I know that sounded like a contradiction, biggest list of targeted prospects, but that is what you're trying to do. If you're going after, podiatrists, and there's 2,500 podiatrists that you can get the information on, then you get all 2,500 of them and you put them in there and you go for it. Rudy, all the scripts I'm assuming you're part of 7-Figure Sales Coach if you're on this call. Rudy, all of the scripts that we use are in 7-Figure Sales Coach. You have access to everything. Okay, every script I've ever created is in there. Okay, so make sure you're going through your resources. Go through the sales resources that I've given you in there. Okay. All right, so let's hear the handful of things that I want to show you. I want to make sure that you understand. And this is, like I said, this is a brand new instance that we just set up. But in DMO, I'm not going to tell you what DMO is. Whoa, it's a secret product that we're working on. But so I just set up a very simple pipeline. Okay, now this is for physical products and information products, right? So we are formalizing how we are going about growing these businesses. So in physical products, you guys likely know, we're selling on Amazon and setting up our own little e-commerce stores through Shopify. And then with our info products, we have info products in the local space. We have info products in the physical product space. We have info products in areas completely outside of any of this stuff that we're doing as well. And so what we want to do is formalize our sales process for both of these types of products. Okay, so reaching out to JV partnerships on the physical product side, reaching out to bloggers who will review our products on their blog, reaching out to people who have lists that could promote our physical products through their lists. The pipeline that I created, and it's totally customizable inside of PIPEDRIVE, right? You can set up a PIPEDRIVE however you want to, but the pipeline that I created are just super, super simple pipelines. Okay, so here for physical products, again, I'm going after bloggers to give them to review my products or to get them to promote my products, right? So I have an idea. I found, Wellness Magazine that I think would be a great fit for our product. So it would be in the idea stage if I was just starting that. Contact made is exactly what it is. I've reached out to them. Okay. Needs discovered. So I'm talking to the blogger, I'm talking to the editor, and I'm saying, hey, what kind of stuff do you look for? What kind of stuff do you write on? Do you, review samples of products? Great. How can I get that to you? Awesome. And then oftentimes there will be some sort of paid component to that, or they'll want me to write up, some sort of information about the products and get them to them first. So that's where proposal is presented, whether it's a proposal or, technically or not. And then in negotiation, trying to finalize something. Okay. So on info JV deals, very, very similar. Ideal, contact made, an opportunity is created, and then deal lockdown, because information product, people tend to be completely, they're total disasters. They run their business like a total mess. They're unorganized. They don't stick to deadlines, any of that type of stuff. So you're having to wrangle them to make sure stuff gets done. So we want to make sure that we've got that deal lockdown stage so that we know, hey, look, we've got hard dates and times on the calendar, yada, yada. Okay. So you can have multiple types of pipelines depending on what you're doing. Okay. But each of these pipelines, can be reflected in this visual mode, which is what I love. And you can just slide things back and forth. Okay. You can also slide it down to lost or won to show that you won the deal. Okay. You can show these in list view, right? If you want to. You can show them on a timeline so you can see by month what is happening. Obviously, we're just starting this and got to get our info put in here, but PIPEDRIVE just gives you such great representations of this stuff. Okay. So let me show you a handful of things. So I have email integration with Gmail. So when I send an email, it gets caught in there and it shows up in my activities. All right. I have calendar integration. So my phone calls and stuff like that are scheduled on my calendar are automatically showing up in PIPEDRIVE and vice versa. I also started using, which one is it? Thank you to everybody for their feedback. Schedule once, which is going to be a huge time saver for me. I don't know why I wasn't using that before. For me personally, right? We've used those things for business before, but I've just never used it personally. It's great. So we have, all of that integrated, right? So I'm taking advantage of all of those different tools to automate as much of this as possible. Okay. And then you can set up products. I have not added products, but if you guys are regularly proposing, which you should be, of course, certain packages and certain price points, then you can just set them up as products in the system so that when you create a deal, you can just add a product to that deal very easily so you know exactly what you're selling, what price points, all that type of stuff. Okay? So, God, I love this system. I was just saying that the other day in my post in Facebook that I just absolutely love it. Love it, love it, love it. So I just went over here, this drop-down arrow real quick over here on the upper right. You can see my mouse up here on the upper right. There's this drop-down arrow and went to settings. And I just want to show you this just to make sure that everybody understands. And all of this is in a recording inside of your membership area already. I've got, how to set up all the integrations in here recorded to show you. But connections, you can go in here, you can connect. So you can see I've got Google connected for my contacts, my calendar, Google Drive. I love that as well, Google Drive integration. So files, can just be shared from Google Drive and PIPEDRIVE automatically. You can connect MailChimp if you want, Quote Roller, Right Signature, all these different things that people are using that you can just integrate right into, which is awesome. Again, Google Calendar, you've got all these settings. So you can say, exactly how you want it to show up in your calendar. Which things do you want to integrate onto your calendar? Okay, so I don't show like tasks, deadlines, and emails. I don't show those on my calendar. I only show calls, meetings, lunch, things like that. Tasks and deadlines and emails, I keep those just as activities inside of PIPEDRIVE, not on my calendar. Okay, contacts. Okay, I haven't done that sync just because the contacts in my Gmail database right now are all like in triplicate, and I don't know what's going on there, so I don't want to sync those to PipeDrive. Google Drive, again, I can sync up the files. Email integration, I've got that synced up so that everything is automatically landing in PipeDrive. Okay, so all these things you got to take advantage of. Now let's go to pipelines. Okay, pipelines is where you set up these deals. Okay, and you can go in and customize. Okay, what's the name, deal probability, and deal rotting. Okay, so right now you can see these are all 100% probability, which of course is not the case, right? You can see on JV deals, you can see here I have rot in 15 days, rot in 15 days, rot in 5 days. Okay, deal lockdown. So I'm trying to get things squared away on the calendar. So I want to know within just 5 days if I want to know just, I don't want it to go longer than 5 days before I'm following up with anything that's in deal lockdown stage. 15 days for opportunity, 15 days for contact made. And then these probabilities I will change, right? So probability on deal lockdown, I'm going to put that at 75%. Okay. Probability on an opportunity, I'll put that at 50%. Contact made, probability of a deal turning into something there, I'm going to say not more than 20%. Okay, and then an idea, I'll put that at 5%. Okay, so now I've got probabilities baked in here so that when I'm looking at my pipelines, the probabilities will get taken into account in my numbers. So on a 50% probability opportunities, if I have $30,000 worth of deals in here, this will show that I can expect $15,000 in revenue, right? Because it's 30,000 times 50%, because I only think that realistically half of them will close. Okay, so by getting these probabilities right, you start to understand, okay, what are my real numbers? What's the real likelihood that I'm going to make my target? If you don't have probabilities and you're just saying, oh yeah, well, I've got 30,000 in deals in there, so that means I'm going to make $30,000. No way. Okay, very, very rarely are you actually going to close every single deal you think you're going to close. Okay, so by having my probabilities and having my rotting in here, it will show me, hey, Mike, this deal has been sitting in the stage for 15 days with no activity. It's going to pop up a big red thing in my pipeline, so there's no way that I can miss it, and I know I need to follow up with this. Okay, so you can customize these. You can have more stages. You can have less stages, right? So I can just add a stage in here. Whatever is right for you, whatever makes the most sense for you, you can go ahead and build it in here, and you can have different types of sales stages. So let's say you have, I don't know, 2 different types of services that you sell, and for whatever reason, the stages are quite different. So I think a real good example could be if you're selling custom website design services, okay, that can have a totally different sales process than when you're selling your typical $1,000 a month reputation deal or whatever, okay? Custom websites can be a total pain in the neck, and the stages and the meetings and all that stuff that you have to go through can be totally unique. So instead of trying to cram that into the same type of structure as your other deals, you could have 2 different pipelines, okay? Now, goals here, you want to set specific goals, right? So you can see here, I should move 4 deals into idea every week. I should move 4 deals into contact made every week, 2 deals into opportunity every week, 2 deals should close every week, and they should be valued at $20,000 every week, okay? So you can set your goals in here based off of your activity tracking spreadsheets, right? And what you've determined that you need to do to make your money, all right? And by doing this, I can then see the progress reports inside of PipeDrive that tell me, Mike, you're on track, you're off track in each of these areas. Okay, the reports automatically get generated by PipeDrive. One of the reasons that I really love it is they automatically create the data that I need created to understand my business. Okay, so I can see what's happening inside of my business. So set up those specific goals based off of your activity tracking spreadsheet. Okay, it's really, really, really quite simple once you have this all set up correctly. Okay, it's really quite simple once you have this all set up correctly, because then it's just a matter of, right, if it's not in our CRM, it didn't happen. You should be going in here and logging everything that's going on. When you do that, the system automatically creates the data that you need to manage your business. Okay, PipeDrive does an amazing job. You go over here to the statistics tab, and you can see today, yesterday, this week, last week, this month, last month, this quarter, last quarter, custom period for whichever pipelines. How am I doing? Okay, you can see the pipeline metrics. This is the visual stuff that I was telling you about that I love. Right? This tells you, right, how long is it taking in between stages? Where are deals getting stuck? Which percentage of them are you winning? Okay, it's a brilliant system. Absolutely brilliant in its simplicity. Okay, so showing you all the updates. So you want to see, hey, I want to see all the activities that are going on. Right? I want to see a log of everything that's happening. It's all in here. Okay, it's all in here. This following thing, so you can actually follow certain deals, certain people, right? So I can kind of tag these as like the things that I want to keep an eye on. And it's a nice, easy way to come in here and see everything that's happening for those specific deals or people or whatever. Okay. If you have multiple people in your organization, you can follow, the other people on your team. So if I had 5 salespeople on this, I'd go in here and I'd follow all 5 salespeople. Okay. It is a brilliant system. People are asking, hey, Mike, how do I get the information to update my activity tracking spreadsheet? Right here. If you did everything that you were supposed to do in your CRM for the day, right? If you did everything that you were supposed to do in your CRM for the day, all you got to do is come back here and pull out the information. Super easy. Just get your metrics. Okay. Get your statistics. It's all right here for you. If you're not filling in your CRM, then you're in big trouble. Okay. Clarence says, great idea. On a local vertical level, it would be great to make a pipeline for local media connections. Yeah, absolutely, Clarence. Once you get addicted to using your CRM, you're going to want to put anything where you have like some sort of goal-oriented contact with other people. So goal-oriented, not just relationships, right? But goal-oriented. I'm trying to move some sort of deal forward with them. You're going to end up wanting to put it all into your CRM. Okay. Angel says, is ConnectWise just for MSPs? Would you recommend it for other industries? Angel, you know what? It's really designed for MSPs. But I know people in other industries that are using it because it is just a great platform. They've done such a nice job with it. I think that others can certainly use it. I would have them. I wouldn't just recommend it though without like sitting down and saying, hey, does this really map to your business? If they've got that kind of client services business like that, then it could work. If they're doing some other type of business, then I would look elsewhere. See Wahid, thank you. Tenny says, I presume clients between each pipeline are stored separately. Some clients between each pipeline are stored separately. No, I don't think so. Tenny, if I understand what you're saying, they'll all just be in here. Okay. But I will have, whatever deal is won. Okay. Whatever deal is won. Right. So I will have them as a client, right? Listed as a client at the organization level. You could customize a field inside of PipeDrive. So you could say that it's one type of client versus another type of client, So when you win these deals right here, those deals, deal value, deal title, organization name, all that type of stuff, you could put some custom fields. But, you'll know the type of product that they have. But like I said, you could put a custom field so you could say this is a, certain type of customer, this is a different type of, client. Clients equals names, you're saying. I hope I'm answering your question. I'm not sure if I'm answering your question. But everybody gets stored in the same database, whether they're in one pipeline, deal pipeline versus another. Okay. Nahal says, I've clearly been using PipeDrive like a noob. Geez. Yeah, it's an amazing platform. Okay. It's an amazing platform. Montina, I will have this recording up later on today or by tomorrow morning. And there's also recordings in your membership area where I've gone over CRM stuff as well. So absolutely jump into those. Angel, what would you recommend for a service-based business like appliance repair, electricians, and stuff like that? My guess is that they have specific CRMs for those industries. I've got to believe. So I would look specifically for a CRM for those industries because I've got to believe appliance repair for sure. For most industries at this point have a CRM that's been created that's dedicated to them. Okay. Derek says struggling with going from adding leads into the system, importing, and then going from a second call to then they have interest, so I add them to the pipeline. Struggling with that. Okay, let me make sure I understand and I can walk you through. So, okay, so in my pipeline, I think what you're saying here is I have ideas, contact made, need discovered, stuff like that, right? So to me, an idea is when I come up with something that I want to proactively propose to somebody. Okay, so this is, I saw there's a prospect I've been tracking. I saw some news about them recently. They have some reputation dings, and I want to reach out to them and talk to them about their reputation. So what I would do is I would add a deal here. I would pick the right contact and person and all that type of stuff. I put in here some sort of reputation stuff, right? And then I would add them to the pipeline at the idea stage. You can see here's green here. I can put them in whichever deal I wanted to, but I would put them in a pipeline at the idea stage. And then I'm just I'm reaching out to them and saying, hey, I've got this idea for you. I saw X, Y, and Z about your reputation. I've got some ideas on how I can help you. Okay. If I reach them, then I just slide them over to contact made. Okay. At some point in this conversation, there's actually going to be numbers associated with it. I've been talking to them. Turns out they're interested. I gave them a proposal, or I told them about our, $1,000 a month reputation wingdinger package, and it looks like they're interested. I'm expecting I can get a meeting with them, in the next 2 weeks to discuss it with their executive team. So then I'm actually, assigning dollars to it and timelines to it and all that type of stuff and moving it through the pipeline. Now, on the other hand, if I was just putting cold prospects in here, and let's just say I'm doing my calling from here, okay? If that's the case, I'm just going through my people, okay? So I've got Adam Simon. I'm just going through my people. I'm making a call. Okay, but there's no deal. They're not in my pipeline. They're not in my pipeline at all. Okay, so I just called him, didn't get him, left the voicemail, whatever. I'm just logging that in here because there's no opportunity yet. There's nothing that's an actual deal yet. There's nothing that I can say, yeah, we're talking about doing reputation. Okay, once I have got Adam on the phone, okay, so once I've got Adam on the phone and I did this call, okay, now I can start creating a deal out of this and adding it to my pipeline. Okay, now I can start adding a deal here and adding it to my pipeline. So I could create something, some sort of deal up here, right? And hit save and mark as done. Okay. Schedule my next activity. Okay. And then I'm going to actually, and that was a poor example just because I'm showing the, actually, let me see if it's in here now. So I'm showing how I was just essentially associating that call with the deal. But the point is that I will take that contact, that activity that I did with Adam, and I will turn that into a deal at some point, right? Because I'm actually having some sort of conversation now with Adam where there's some sort of momentum. So they'll get added to my pipeline. Okay? Does that make sense to you? Okay, cool. Yeah, now you just got to get people to bite on the wing dinger deals. There you go. That's the whole point. Okay, cool, Denny. All right, Clarence. Have a good one. Montina, yeah, absolutely. Nehal, Montina, everybody, you got to get this right. You got to get using your CRM like a pro right. I'm telling you, when you are using your CRM like a pro, you feel like a machine. Your business operates like a machine, okay? You literally, because everything's dialed in, everything's measured, everything has statistics associated with it. You know what the next steps are for all your prospects. You can see, yeah, I've got all these deals in my pipeline, okay? You feel like a machine. Your business is operating with predictability. That's the whole point, okay? Montina says, I missed this, but can I use this as a regular CRM? In other words, I use Insightly. Can I ditch that for this program? Yes, Montina. Yes, PipeDrive and Insightly are competitors. Okay? I prefer PipeDrive. Okay? Montina says, oh, that's not me. Oh, no problem, Montina. Cartes, Ross, is that right? So, no problem. So, I think that was Cartes' question I was answering then. So, man, now I don't know who I'm talking to. That's hilarious. 2 Montinas in the group. All right, gang. So that's it. So, the best practice